So here I am. Hey, this is ARonAR. I'm Adam Rose, and I'm out training. And training for what? Of course, for the raid in France, and hopefully Eco Challenge. Like a lot of you, I'm sure, I entered Eco Challenge with a team, and hoping obviously to get picked, but you know the odds are against anybody getting in. So got to have a backup plan. My backup plan is raid in France, which I've never done before, and that's a proper race too. Flippin' heck. You know, next year's edition of raid in France will be around Mont Blanc, in that area. So we're talking serious mountains, glacier stuff probably, hectic rope sections, hectic altitude gain. I think they said 18,000 meters climb or something. I don't know. I need to look at it again. But so it's now, what's the date? Have a look. 16th. Yeah, it's now the 16th of October 2020, and I've got about 9 months before the race starts, late June, last week of June or so, into the first week of July is when it takes place, and I'm hectically out of shape. I haven't been racing for ages, and I kind of tore my ACL back in May. Full tear or major tear, they're not sure. Anyway, the point is I was just starting to get back into my training in spring and had to put a stop to it. And now that I've entered for raid in France, at least that's formally on the calendar, I need to get so I don't breathe like this when I'm walking up a hill. I guess not that bad. I was running a few minutes ago, but only because I have to take this video did I stop running, you know, because if I run on this stuff, the camera will shake too much and I won't be able to concentrate on what I need to say. Okay. Yeah. So if there's one thing I'd say to those of you who haven't trained for any long distance event of whatever discipline, is start slow. Don't rush into it. Don't go out all guns blazing. Why? Because you'll pick up injuries. Guaranteed. So for the next 2.5 months to December, it'll be pretty much get the fitness, basic core level of fitness, base level, long, slow stuff. And past Christmas, then start incorporating faster, harder sessions into the training. But I'm in no rush because 9 months is plenty for an expedition race, even though I'm out of shape. And yeah, you can see where I am. I come up from the valley floor here in North Wales. It's not very high, but living next to some hills is better than no hills. And I've got poles, not so much for the climbing, but for the descending, because it's too easy for me to damage an ankle on the downhill or the knees. Obviously they help on the uphill too, and I'm a huge fan of poles, but I'm not using them now because I don't need it. Anyway, and I'm carrying a pack, not a heavy pack, probably a few kilos in here, that's it. And so whatever discipline you're doing, other than the water disciplines like kayaking, you should be training with a pack on, because you want to get your body used to carrying that weight so that it doesn't notice it, and your hips and your ankles and your knees and your back no longer notice it. So when race day comes around, my body will have adjusted to that. You see too many people who do an expedition race who haven't been training with the pack on, when they start the race, they put the sudden stress, extra stress on all their joints, and that leads to all sorts of breakdown, including the soles of the feet. I mean, it's just suddenly an extra weight. So, as I say, it's only 2-3 kilos at the moment, and over time I'll probably build it up to 10 to 15 kilos. Shouldn't be more than 15. Most time on a expedition race it'll be roughly 10 kilograms for me, I reckon. But yeah, just a shout out to all of you who contemplating your first proper expedition race. Start out slow, get your body used to things, get your technique right, your form right, learn to run lightly, not heavily, and then slowly build it up, and you can work on the speed later. And in fact, me walking right now might seem like a compromise when I should be running. The fact of the matter is, in most expedition races you'll be walking 10 times more than you'll be running. You might never run in an expedition race. Short races, sure. Expedition race, in some cases the only run you're going to do, if you do any, is off the start line because you're so full of adrenaline. And then sanity prevails, hopefully, and you settle down to fast hiking. Okay, so yeah, that's a shout out to those of you who are coming from the triathlon background or something like that, used to putting in big miles and fast miles. Practice your walking, train your walking. Uses different muscles to running, obviously. If you don't train that, again, come race day, when you have to trek for stupid kilometers, your body will fall apart. So you kind of want to mix it up. In fact, in my team that I normally race in over the years, we developed an approach that we'll walk all the uphills and then attempt to run the flats and the downhills. You know, at most, certainly won't be running any uphills. And right in France, ain't going to be running any uphills. Probably not even the downhills. Maybe run along a ridgeline just to feel that I can still do it. Ha ha ha. Anyway, good one. Go out and train. Ha ha. Cheers.